Triglyceride levels can cause thickening of your arteries. So what I mean with thickening of your arteries is it's fat deposits in your arteries that can cause blockage and in turn causing heart attack or stroke or low flow in your blood vessels.
Welcome back to another episode of Doc Talk Live. We are still in season 7. Doc Talk Live is a health show dedicated to educating its listeners about different health topics every week. We do so by bringing on medical experts to answer commonly asked questions. So be sure to send in your questions through our Facebook Live page Wednesdays by 5 p.m. You can find more information about the show also on our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, and our website, doctalklive.com. Also, listen to more episodes on other platforms such as Spotify, iTunes, and iHeartRadio. Again, my name is Dr. Sylvie Simon, and I'm always excited to be here on Doc Talk Live, and I'm hosting today's show. And more excitingly, we have Dr. Safia Sheikh from Southwest Family Medicine, who is an expert on our topic today, which is high triglyceride levels. Okay, and so Dr. Sheikh, welcome
Hi.
to Doc Talk Live. Thank you again for being here. She is no stranger to this show. You are coming back, and we always appreciate you back. Please tell our listeners, those who have not known you, a little bit about yourself and your practice.
So I'm Dr. Safia. I'm a foreign medical graduate. And I do clinical research. It's basically studying all these medications before they come to in the market. Every medication that comes in the market goes through extensive research where we collect data and see if they are effective for that disease. And then, we present it to the FDA and they approve it for use.
Well, I thank you for what you do and how we get a lot of our treatments. We don't know all the background of how a medication gets on the shelf. So thank you for that. And as I mentioned earlier, we're going to talk about what high triglyceride levels, its problems it causes, and treatment options. So let's just start with the basics. Can you tell us what is a triglyceride?
So triglyceride is a fat, or you can call it lipid, in our body. What happens is when we eat any food, any calorie that our body doesn't need, it changes it to fat and deposit it in fat tissues. There is you can say fat as in a different. There are different names, different categories of compounds that come under fat. It's cholesterol, lipids, and triglycerides.
Gotcha.
So all these are stored in fat cells. There is good cholesterol and bad cholesterol. Good cholesterol is HDL, which try to modulate the lipid levels in our blood in order to protect us from high lipid levels. And then triglycerides come under bad cholesterol.
Okay. Well, it's good to know there is some good fats out there, right? And what is the problem if we start having high triglyceride levels?
So high triglyceride levels can cause thickening of your arteries. So what I mean with thickening of your arteries is it's fat deposits in your arteries that can cause blockage and in turn causing heart attack or stroke or low flow in your blood vessels.
So then that little molecule just doesn't say little. I mean, it can cause big problems.
It can. And if it's in very high levels, it can also affect your pancreas and cause inflammation of pancreas.
And we'll get into that a little later. And just to throw out some statistics, this is by no means a small disease. About 2 million adults in the United States have high triglyceride levels. So this is pretty prevalent, at least in our country. More questions here. What is actually the definition of a high triglyceride level? How do we diagnose that?
Yeah. So first of all, how do we do the testing?
Yes.
So for triglyceride levels to be accurately measured, you need at least 6 hours of fasting.
Okay.
And then there is high triglyceride, and then there is severe triglyceride. So high triglyceride level is from 400 between 200 to 499 milligram per deciliter. And if you are thinking what is severe, it's 500 and above.
Okay.
And some patients it's like 2000, and
Oh, wow.
And some patients can have familial diseases, like something that's passed down in genetics, and they have high levels of triglycerides, and their blood can be have this yellowish tinge to it as
Okay.
well, because of high triglycerides.
And other than familial causes, of course, that's a genetic condition. We can't really do a whole lot about it on our end. But are there other reasons why people would have high triglyceride levels?
Yes. So being overweight, sedentary lifestyle, eating a lot of fast food, high sugar content foods, poor controlled diabetes, even increased alcohol intake can cause high triglyceride levels.
And that is, in various degrees, very prominent in the Western world. So that's probably why we have that statistics. I mean, more than 2 million people with high triglyceride levels. So, is there a certain population of people that are more affected by high triglyceride levels than not? I don't know if that ties in with the genetic connection of
No,
the high levels.
it's mostly how your lifestyle is. So like if you are keeping your weight controlled, if you are eating healthy, if you are exercising, all these tie into keeping all these levels of triglyceride, lipids, sugar in your blood sugar in your body at an optimal level. But if you are like it's you are not eating healthy, it's restaurant food every day, it's no activity, or just office to home, those can cause over time increase in all these bad cholesterol in your so it can, because high triglyceride will deposit not just in fat tissue, but they will also start getting deposit in liver, which will turn into fatty liver. And a lot of people don't know this, but fatty liver can change into cirrhosis as well. So like so much fat deposits that it destroys the cell or liver cells and cause cirrhosis.
Actually, that's a very good point. I mean, it's kind of going a little bit on a tangent, but not really. I mean, a lot of these things you can start from small little causes, high triglyceride levels, leading to liver issues. And in fact, a lot of people, I think, don't know that, because a lot of people associate liver disease or cirrhosis, fibrotic liver disease, with alcohol, hepatitis. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, don't quote me, but I think now fatty liver disease is taking over a major cause of why people have liver failure. So, this is a big deal. So then tell us, Dr. Sheikh, how can we lower our triglyceride levels or make sure that they're, within a reasonable range?
So, as I mentioned before, exercise is important. Healthy food, choices of food is important. Lose weight if your weight is above so how you can gauge your weight is with body mass index. If it's more than 25, you have to bring it under 25 to be at an optimum weight. Then there are good fats as well that you can choose. So like not all fats are bad. You can use olive oil and canola oil
Okay.
You can like instead of red meat, you can try fish.
Okay.
Like these kind of substitution can help put you on the right path of getting your triglycerides in control. Avoid trans fats or foods that have with hydrogenated fats, because those are really
Can you share some examples of those kind of foods?
um,
Those are your I mean, those are your fast foods, right? Those are foods for that, and then anything you think of that's really good on the shelf.
like
Sweets.
good on the shelf. I mentioned olive oil and canola oil. Fish oil is good in maintaining your cholesterol level, triglyceride level. A lot of people are doing research on fish oil, like how it can decrease inflammation as well in your body. And we all know that with all these processed foods and everything, it does affect our body and causes inflammation. And there was a study published in JAMA that did show effectiveness, that fish oil can help decrease that. They were doing a study on Vasipa, that's already in the market. It's a prescription fish oil, but over-the-counter fish oil is okay as well.
And for those tuning in, we are on doctalklive.com. Or Doc Talk Live, I'm sorry, it's a health show. We have Dr. Safia Sheikh here with us from Southwest Family Medicine, and we are discussing the topic of high triglyceride levels, its complications, and treatment. So thank you for telling us lifestyle. I always like an approach where treatment is a lifestyle base, because we have a lot of control over that. But also sometimes we do need medication help. So can you tell us what is out there other than the fish oil? Vasipa is a prescription fish oil medication, but what other?
So before I mention the medication, just to clarify on lifestyle, when we talk about exercise, our patients think that it has to be every day. Even if you can manage 3 to 4 days a week of exercise, that will help go a long way in controlling your weight, in keeping your levels of good cholesterol, bad cholesterol, blood sugar in optimum levels. Coming to medications, there are statins. Like for example, atorvastatin, rosuvastatin. Some of you might be taking it. There is so statin usually focuses on LDL levels. There is phenofibrates, that is also known as Tricor, and gemfibrozole, which is lipoid, I think, or
don't know the
something.
Gemfibrozole.
Those actually target triglyceride levels in your blood, and they modulate their levels, like bring them down. There is fish oil that I already mentioned. Then niacin. Niacin is basically a vitamin, and a form of what can I say? It's one type of supplement that can help reduce your triglycerides.
And I just thought of something. You said LDL and statins. I know a lot of our heart patients or cardiac patients, people with heart disease, are on that. Can triglyceride? Do you know if high triglyceride levels itself can also be a risk factor for cardiovascular disease?
Yeah, so triglycerides are definitely a risk for heart disease. As I mentioned, that it does, cause hardening of your vessels and blood vessels, and which is like depositing plaque and narrowing your vessels, decreasing blood flow, that can in turn cause stroke and heart attack, or low flow in your arteries.
And you said you're doing research. I'm sure you're passionate about research. Thank you for what you do again. Tell us a little bit about some of the triglyceride studies you're doing.
So we are doing a couple of studies on cholesterol, bad cholesterol.
Okay.
One of them is triglyceride. It's a phase 2 study. So what it means is it has already been tested on human,
Okay.
and it has shown we have the safe dose that we can administer in patients with high triglyceride. The amazing thing about this study is it's actually about a hormone that is already present in our body. That hormone is released by our liver, our fat cell, our muscles, and it brings not just affect the triglyceride levels in our blood, like bringing it down. It also brings down our blood glucose.
Oh.
So that's the amazing part of it, that you are taking something that's naturally occurring in your body. So a lot of people have like some reservations that it's a clinical research, but even if it's a clinical research, it's a compound or a supplement that's already in your body. And it's helping you not just reduce your triglyceride, but if you are diabetic, it helps with your blood glucose levels as well. Other studies that I have,
that one you just mentioned that helps lower the glucose. You can also, is it for non-diabetic patients as well, or
Yes.
only diabetic patients?
It's for both diabetic and non-diabetic patients that have high triglycerides.
And for our listeners, just to clarify, just because you have high triglyceride levels doesn't mean you have diabetes, correct? And vice versa. So, but they share common risk factors together.
And other studies that we have on bad cholesterols are, one of the study is modulating the lipoprotein little a. So it's not a bad cholesterol, but it's a factor that accelerates the deposition of fat. Like it will accelerate the process. So modulating the LP little a, lipoprotein A, we can prevent future events of heart attack or stroke.
Wow,
which is
that's
amazing.
It is amazing.
And
where are you guys at on that study? can we expect that next week?
We are enrolling right now.
Awesome.
If you are interested, call us at 469-893-1242. Another study that we are doing that's actually coming up is will decrease LDL levels in your blood, and it's for secondary prevention. Secondary preventions are if you already have a heart attack or a stroke in the past, or if you already have low flow in your vessels. They are giving this, like they are testing this medication to see if it will decrease the LDL and prevent future events and keep the LDL level at its optimum.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
And these sound like little things, but I told you this is a big deal.
Yeah.
High triglyceride levels, high LDL levels could definitely lead to more serious illnesses with high mortality, high death rate. So very important to attack it from the basics.
Yeah, and I would say just think of LDL and triglyceride as sisters. They are both doing the same thing.
Evil sisters.
Yes.
Yes.
They are doing the same thing. They are